For any ninja, teamwork is essential on a mission's success. If all the members on the team are on the same page, then a mission can go off smoothly, even if some unforeseen circumstances arise. However, if the team is not on the same page, the worst case scenario can happen. Ninja can be wiped out in the blink of an eye, leaving the entire team to be killed off. If any one ninja survives, then they have to carry this burden for the rest of their lives. A good example of how this actually happens is in the Itachi Daylight light novel, where Itachi's own arrogance and superiority complex played a role in his teammate Tenma being killed by the masked Obito during their mission to guard the feudal lord, and as a result, Itachi's other teammate Shinko retired as a ninja due to the mental breakdown that she went through, and Itachi wore the burden of knowing that not committing the teamwork caused his teammate's death. In Kakashi RETSUDEN, though Kakashi is far away in the land of Redaku, the concept of teamwork is pretty much still applied. In fact, despite being on an entirely different continent, Naruto has lent his support to Kakashi during the pivotal moment of Kakashi's mission in this land, despite Naruto's health being in a declining state as he battles the same chakra illness that not even the Sage of Six Paths was able to overcome on his own. In today's edition of Kakashi RETSUDEN, we're going to look at how Naruto lent his support to Kakashi during the pivotal point of Kakashi's mission to find Naruto's cure, where Kakashi found himself fighting off a shinobi army of over 300 rogue ninjas and mercenaries, as well as 40 chakra cannons. Now, the information is given to us in the Naruto light novel Kakashi RETSUDEN, which is the first of 3 light novels set in the Boruto era that focuses on the mission of the original Team 7, Kakashi, Naruto, Sasuke, and Sakura, as they search for a cure to the chakra illness that has befallen Naruto, the very same illness that the Sage of Six Paths was terminally ill with. For those of you guys who are curious, I've already covered Sasuke RETSUDEN in full from start to finish, and I have it on a playlist on this channel's homepage, along with the other Naruto light novels I've covered in this manner. In the scene I'm going to share with you guys, Kakashi has finished day 1 of his battle against the army of 300 ninja and mercenaries, including a bout with a former Konoha shinobi who dared to try to use the Raikiri against Kakashi, the very man who created the jutsu. After Kakashi used a complex earth release jutsu to form a mud wall to protect the villagers and protect the villagers from the actual chakra cannons, Kakashi then begins weaving hand signs at an ungodly speed level using chakra control and hand seal speed that makes the shinobi watching him think that he's actually using genjutsu. Kakashi heats up a portion of the mud wall to transform it into glass at the exact time where the fake Raikiri actually strikes it, which allows the glass to serve as a conductor for the lightning chakra. It was a jutsu Kakashi created alongside Katasuke and the scientific ninja weapon team, similar to Sasuke's lightning release jutsu called the Lorentz gun. Kakashi, fighting back his anger, notes that the shinobi wasn't actually using the Raikiri, but instead was merely channeling a high volume of lightning release chakra into his attack, but it fell well short of the destructive capability of an actual Raikiri. It's in this moment that Naruto's aid to Kakashi arrives in the most unlikely of fashions to back Kakashi up. Despite Kakashi exhausting an extreme amount of chakra to protect the villagers, they still mistrust him, due to Kakashi's identity not having fully made its way around to the villagers yet. They say that a simple tutor should not be able to use ninjutsu, especially on this caliber. It's at that very moment that Naruto's presence is felt on the battlefield, and just as he lifted the spirits of the allied shinobi alliance, Naruto has managed to have a sizable impact on the current battlefield. Now, with the scene and context finally being set, it's here I'm going to begin quoting the passage from the novel, and it's here I quote. NANARA raised his head. The hawk spread its dark brown wings out and flew down to NANARA. NANARA waved at the hawk. In response to NANARA's request, the letter from the Land of Fire was brought back, and Naruto stated it was possible to arrange for food and medical products and that he was ready to help as much as possible. NANARA was slowly reading the letter from the Hokage, one sentence at a time, crying as he did so, and seeing the signature written at the end caused him to pause. 7th Hokage. Written in wrinkled handwriting, NANARA stared at the name underneath it. So it went up by 1 number. NANARA's hand was holding the letter and trembled. Kakashi, you're not dead, are you? Kakashi looked at NANARA, then looked at the letter. Well, I just retired when I was old enough. I see, so you're actually just relaxing then. NANARA stroked the signature of the Hokage that smudged on the paper. I guess as Hokage you did work pretty hard, didn't you? Kakashi looked at the letter. The Hokage's real name was written under the title, UZUMAKI Naruto. NANARA looked at the name again. It sounds like a strange name, but it feels warm and positive, NANARA said, who had been looking at the Hokage's handwriting with a red face for a while and decided to run up to the square with the letter, holding it over his head. Everyone, look at this! It's a letter from the Hokage! NANARA shouted at the villagers. The legendary Hokage's name should have been enough to push the villagers against the Prime Minister. The fact that the 7th Hokage from the Land of Fire promised to give the many villagers food and medicine and support. NANARA was sure that it would give them the courage to confront the Prime Minister. Of course, not everyone was won over by Naruto's words. However, more than half of the villagers had agreed to follow Kakashi in fighting against the Prime Minister. After seeing NANARA, who squeezed the letter running to the square, Kakashi finally leaned against the watchtower. He sat down, exhausted with a big sigh. He continuously used the mud wall for more than a day. Kakashi's combat power had significantly increased since the time when he fought against Obito and Madara and Kaguya. It's no surprise since many years have passed since then and he's been diligently training. Although he's lost the sharingan and he can no longer use the chidori, he learned several new techniques in order to replace them, and now his chakra was enough that it could keep up this mud wall as well as use other high-level ninjutsu long enough to actually finish this battle. He wiped his sweat away from his temple and took a shallow breath. He was going to keep the mud wall up and protect these villagers until they came up with a strategy. End quote. Now, this is what I like right here. Number one, it's pretty hilarious that NANARA has to actually double check to see if Kakashi's a zombie, saying, "Are you still alive?" That was pretty hilarious to actually see that. Now, the other thing is because he notices that the current Hokage is Naruto Uzumaki, it makes NANARA pause for a second. Now, the other thing about this is that even though Naruto's in a state where molding chakra gives him heart attack-like symptoms, Naruto is simply sending a letter to the Prince of Redaku, NANARA, and he's managed to lift the spirits of the villagers who were thinking about surrendering. And so it went from all the villagers wanting to surrender to half of the villagers wanting to actually fight against the Prime Minister, and then out of that remaining half, there's a significant portion who will eventually be won over by seeing Kakashi and NANARA's actions. All of this was made possible by Naruto, and to give you guys a better picture of why this is so huge, I'm going to give you more information about the current scene after Kakashi began his fight against the shinobi army. So chakra cannons were aimed all around the village from all sides, leaving them with no place to actually escape, and they've been shooting those chakra cannon blasts at that mud wall for over a day in time, and Kakashi's been able to keep that mud wall up and repair the damage done to the wall in real time as those blasts hit it. On the other side of Kakashi's giant earth-style mud wall that goes higher than even some of the tallest skyscrapers in Konoha, there were hundreds of shinobis and mercenaries waiting for Kakashi to run out of chakra so they could actually ravage the people inside. However, just as Naruto's words lifted the village and his promise to trade with Redaku and help them build towards stability, we also get important revelations about Kakashi Hatake. 16 years after he lost his sharingan, Kakashi has still been training. Kakashi states that he is currently stronger than he was during the 4th Great Ninja War. Some of it's due to no longer having the sharingan, which when uncovered would drain away his stamina and his chakra levels pretty fast, forcing him to beef up his chakra and stamina levels to the point where during the war arc we see him fighting for an entire day and a half against various legendary Edo Tensei shinobi, masked Obito, and Edo Tensei Biju before he even got his chakra levels replenished by Naruto. For comparison, Kakashi only months prior in the timeline during the 5 Kage summit used Kamui once and he was ready to fall over as a result. Current Kakashi benefits from that extra stamina and chakra levels that were built up in preparation for the war, but not only that, even after being the Hokage, Kakashi still continued to train. The Earth-style mudwall jutsu that he learned was created using scientific research and his own training on top of that. However, it took Kakashi years of chakra control training and coordination with his hand seal speed as well as research from Katasuke and the Scientific Ninja Weapon Team Department in order to pull off the jutsu. It should make all you guys who say that Kakashi's weaker now after losing the Sharingan during the war, it should make all of you pause for a second. Sure, he doesn't have the same hacks that he had when he fought against Kaguya, but Kakashi's power level has increased and his skill, speed, and strength have gone up in ways that do deserve a lot of credit in my opinion. This is far more impressive than Kakashi's summoning rain clouds, because Kakashi was high up in the air, surrounded by clouds. He was falling from such a high point in the actual air that he was approaching the Armstrong limit before the descent began, which for those you guys who need clarification, that is the Armstrong limit being at 56,000 feet in the air. And due to the circumstances that Kakashi was under at the time, Kakashi was rapidly approaching that point. It was getting harder for Kakashi to actually breathe, at which point Kakashi was freaking out in the light novel, because knowing once he got to that point in the actual skyline, his bodily fluids will begin to start boiling. Human life cannot be sustained up there without any type of suits or anything like that. Kakashi was dangerously close to being that high up in the sky. To put this into perspective, you only need to be about 6,000 to 7,000 feet in the air before you actually get to rain clouds. So Kakashi was well above where he needed to be in order to produce lightning that could actually make rain come out of the clouds. That isn't as impressive. Yes, Inoki was super shocked and everything, but a lot of that was also because Inoki was looking over at Kakashi saying he's using such a reckless jutsu, and when Inoki is offered protection from Kakashi's jutsu in case Kakashi loses his footing and the jutsu goes off course, Inoki looks at it and says, "I'll be fine, I don't need your protection." So that in itself kind of implies Inoki probably could have tanked that purple lightning that was used at that time. However, this is more impressive in my opinion, because the speed that you have to use the hand seals on in order to turn part of an earth style jutsu into actual glass, change the properties, and then change it back immediately after the fact. That's more impressive in my opinion. Now, my question to you guys is, which is more impressive? Naruto being able to simultaneously motivate a village and form an alliance with another nation despite being away on another continent, or was it the revelation that Kakashi has now surpassed his peak in power from when he had the Sharingan? Let me know down in the comment section below. But as always, guys, if you like anything I had to say, don't forget to comment, rate, subscribe, and share. Thank you so much for watching to the end. Have an awesome day, guys.